is General Zod. I have journeyed across an ocean of stars to reach you. Your world has sheltered one of my citizens. He will look like you, but he is not one of you. To those of you who know of his location, the fate of your planet rests in your hands. To Kal-El, I say this. Surrender within 24 hours, or watch this world suffer the consequences.
You will not win. For every human you save, we will kill 1 million more.
Hello everyone, welcome to another episode here on the Raw Review and Rants channel. I'm your host, James, and I will be bringing more content about how to improve the recent Man of Steel movie. First, I'm going to say that all the information presented here are based on my own opinion. I'm not an expert or anything of that nature. I'm simply airing my own opinion on how the Man of Steel movie could have been improved. With that out of the way, let's get into this. First, Krypton. Krypton is a planet that has 7 other smaller planets or moons orbiting around it. Each of these moons provide a military advantage to Krypton. For example, being able to locate the enemies before they arrive at Krypton, and 2, relaying information that would help Krypton and its military leaders to come up with military strategies to combat whoever the attackers are. Krypton, as of this moment, is a planet that has no political boundaries. That means there are no states, countries, and you know the rest. The reason for this was as a result of the war that took place many years ago, before the 20 Years' War. Now I'm going to come back to all of this when I'm talking about reproduction and how Jor-El came into being. But first, I'm going to also highlight other areas that needs to be spoken about. Now let's talk about the political setting. The Kryptonian government is mostly run by the Science Council. They also answer to the High Councils, which consist of 3 members. Now, due to their past history and wars, the Council thought it best to create a separate group of people that would serve as alternate High Councils in case they are captured or incapacitated due to an unforeseen event and there is no time to elect another High Council. Now, these alternate High Councils are placed on one of the planets orbiting Krypton, and no other individual besides the High Council and the High Council protectors know about this. Now, Krypton in itself, like I said, has no political boundaries. You just have the rest of Krypton and the capital. The capital is surrounded by mountains and has a lot of clouds. Oh yeah, making it very difficult to locate while providing some protection during an invasion. Only those who have gotten maybe a map or have been granted permission by the High Councils are capable of locating that particular zone. Technology and society. Now, as we can see from the Zack Snyder movie, the society is technologically advanced. That area that they showed in the beginning can be regarded as the capital area, while normal citizens stay in an area that is similar in structure to the Star Wars series, the Tron series, and some of those other sci-fi movies that looks a little bit crowded but beautiful. There's barely any room for ghettos because of how the society is structured. Every individual born as a Kryptonian has a predestined purpose. So before you have a baby, you have to receive permission and declare what profession that child should be going into. Now let's talk about reproduction. Prior to the time that I'm looking at this movie, and I think somehow if anybody wants to create an anime or a TV series about the first war that led to Krypton being united, please, by all means, shoot for it. But I'm also going to try to provide information as to why the Kryptonians no longer have children from natural birth. The reason was as a result of the 2 major factions going to war and with no end in sight. One of the factions decided to create a disease, a biological weapon that would affect the reproduction capabilities of the other faction. And at the same time, they would hold the key or the vaccine to that, just in case their people got infected. The problem was that the biological weapon didn't go as planned, and as a result, it infected the whole population. Now, they thought that they had the vaccine, but what they did not count on was that the biological weapon will mutate to the point that the vaccines were no longer relevant, and at that point, it was already too late. Here's the problem with the biological weapon. It often presents itself during the development of the baby. So when the sperm and the egg meet, everything is all kosher. But then when the baby starts to form, then it creates all types of anomalies, all types of mutations. The babies don't come out right. They're so disfigured, they're not really Kryptonian, and basically they don't even last more than hours after coming out. The mother goes through excruciating pain, and it's just terrible. So, in order to avoid all of this, Krypton decided to adopt a new way of reproduction, and that was to have the mother's egg and the father's egg come into the laboratory. But then another system is in place where every child born to a family must have a predestined occupation. So what happens is this, that the Science Council now makes that child more vulnerable to information associated with that particular field. So once the baby comes out, it goes to his mother and father for the emotional comfort and all that whole stuff, and then the child is now pushed toward a certain section. There is no room for choice in the matter because Krypton felt it would be efficient for each child to have a specific profession, and this really worked for them. Now, during the course of explaining the technological status of the Kryptonians, I forgot to mention about some of the natural resources that the Kryptonians depend on for economy. The Kryptonians basically power everything from their ships, automobiles, household items, anything you can think of with crystals. These crystals are mined from the core of Krypton and the planets orbiting Krypton. Even the books they read are made from special crystals that are capable of housing information. I believe you guys have watched a lot of Superman movies to actually see those crystals. You know, you plug it, you play it, and life goes on. Alright guys, that's going to be it for now. In the next episode, I'm going to try my best to speak on what's really happening. Thanks for taking the time to listen. Please don't forget to comment, rate, and like the video. Alright guys, cheers.